fair to say they're very concerned, and it likely is season ending. I mean, it was a nasty thing that happened. Should never happen, to be honest with you. These guys are not in pads, and they won't be in pads until Monday. And there's a certain etiquette in the NFL. They were on a 2-minute drill, really down to the last half dozen or so plays. And, they had a rookie, Logan Hall, who took an inside rush on Aaron Stinney. And there's really nothing you can do. You're not going to sack Tom Brady. You're not going to hit the quarterback. But Stinney kind of pushed him into Jensen, who was engaged with Vita Vea. And you knew instantly by the sound that Jensen made and just watching the entire team come up to him that this is very serious. So they're in a tough position. I mean, that's not the guy you want to lose. They've already got 2 new guards, in Shaq Mason and Stinney, who's been with the team. Now you've got to add a center. Maybe Robert Hainsey will take over that spot, who was a rookie a year ago from Notre Dame. They'll look outside as well. I know J.C. Tretter's out there from Cleveland, but Tom Brady, that center position is so important that when he ended his retirement, not coincidentally, within hours the next day, the first guy they signed was Ryan Jensen. It was that important to him.
You don't want to lose anybody. Tom Brady probably didn't want to lose Gronk either, but seemingly, at least for the time being, Rick Stroud, Gronk is retired. So they brought in Kyle Rudolph to replace him. How much of a drop-off do you think there's going to be at that tight end position, if any?
Well, they got the best guy they could, right? And in terms of experience, and again, somebody else that wants to come here because he wants to win a Super Bowl ring. You're talking about the greatest tight end of all time. And when you're talking about Gronk and Tom Brady, those guys have so much synergy and just what they've been able to do through the years, even after Gronk got to Tampa, that you really can't replace that, right? And that's one of the reasons Julio Jones is here. You've got to make up those 50-something catches, 800-something yards, 5 touchdowns in other ways. And it might not all be Kyle Rudolph doing that, but Kyle Rudolph is a smart player. He's been a Pro Bowl player in this league. He can play that H position, the inline tight end, where you can get good run blocking from him, and also somebody that can catch the football. He's looking forward to maybe getting a little deeper. He's a big guy and run some of those seam routes that Gronk was famous for. So it's just a matter of how much time Tom and him can really get on the same page. But they're not buying green bananas in Tampa anymore. This is about right now. They want to win, and they've got Tom Brady for at least one more year. So difficult day yesterday, but overall, they're stacking the football team.
How much pressure is it, Rick, on Todd Bowles to get this victory? And at least I feel like it's NFC Championship or bust, feeling that it's Brady's last season.
I'd go beyond that. I think it's Super Bowl or bust. But in reality, if you're asking Todd Bowles, would he rather have the pressure of having Tom Brady and trying to win a Super Bowl, or starting over with Kyle Trask and Blaine Gabbert? I think you know the answer. He coached against Tom Brady enough years. He's really happy he's on his team. And that was the reason I think that, and there's probably several reasons, but I think Bruce Arians, with this succession decision, and Bruce is now in the front office, and he's out here, every day like he was anyway. You got the continuity of the entire coaching staff. Todd's not going to a new situation with a new staff that he's trying to teach those guys as well as his players. It's really the best case scenario for Todd Bowles. And, I know he's more than pleased that number 12's back there, and he'll take the pressure and also the 12 or 13 wins that he's likely to get in his first year as a head coach here.
Oh, Rick, finally here on the way out. I mean, who has more pressure then? Is it Brady or is it Bowles? Because you mentioned Brady's got maybe 1 year left in Tampa.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's kind of both. But, I mean, this is it. We're getting closer, I think. Who knows? Maybe the guy plays till he's 50. I mean, anything's possible. But as far as in Tampa goes, I think this is it for him here. And the difference is that when this season is over, whether it ends in confetti or condolences, he's got a job, right? This time last year, not last year, but when he retired, he wasn't really sure what he was going to do with his time. Now he's, got $37.5 million a year waiting for him at Fox. So he could go do that for sure, or he could go try to play someplace else. And I think that's why he's a free agent, much like he was his last year in New England. But, Tom Brady is in it for one more ring. The next one, that's his favorite one. And I think he even recognizes he's near the end. He can still absolutely spin it. It's unbelievable how great his arm looks. So Tom puts that pressure on himself, and everybody else is happy to be along for the ride, to be honest with you.
Yeah, Tom makes us all feel young, still playing at that level in his mid-40s. Rick Stroud, Tampa Bay Times Bucs reporter. Rick, thanks for joining us.
Thanks, guys.
Tom makes me feel old, I got to be honest with you.
Really? No, Tom makes me feel young. Because if he's still got it, I've still got it, even though I don't think I've ever really got it.
What do you think is in Tom Brady's contract? You think he's got a video game?
No, he doesn't need any of that nonsense.
He probably has a clause for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to do this, this, and this. He's like, I will come play with you, but you need to do this.
The Bucs have the clause in the contract. This is Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max. We're presented to you by
in a short-term 3-year deal, but what 50 some odd is guaranteed.
58.2 in guarantees.
Real close, and I know NFL owners are not going to like this. We're getting really close to fully guaranteed contracts. The fact that it's taken this long to get even this close is incredible to me.
Well, and don't forget, Deshaun Watson's contract is a fully guaranteed contract at $230 million. So that's the fully guaranteed contract that we've seen. It's unheard of in the NFL, though, and the Browns in a unique position. So it still remains to be seen whether that was going to be the outlier or whether that is setting a new standard. What we have seen with all these contracts, Peter, that I think is interesting, which is what you just mentioned, is that all these contracts set a new record in some way, right? Like DK Metcalf, he's not the highest paid receiver in the NFL, but if you look at the guaranteed money and the signing bonus, it's the $30 million signing bonus. There, he set the record. Now, that is the highest ever for a wide receiver in the NFL. So when we look at Kyler Murray's contract, it's on a per annual basis. It makes him the second highest paid quarterback in the NFL to Aaron Rodgers. Now, not the biggest contract, not the biggest in terms of guaranteed money. That's Deshaun Watson's contract. So it's kind of like with all these new contracts, there's something that the team is giving them where they, in one category, can say, hey, I broke this record. That seems to be important to these superstar players.
Oh, well, more important to the agents, right? I think that's the big deal, is no matter what it is, I don't know how much important it is to the actual players, because the amount of money is going to be crazy regardless. But I look at this and go, this is what an agent can sell. An agent right now, and I think it's what Torrey Gandy, who's DK Metcalf's agent, he's able to say, listen, you come to me. I'm going to get you paid. I'm going to get you almost guaranteed money because of how I know how to negotiate with the Seattle Seahawks and NFL. And oh, by the way, guess what? I'm getting ready to get Deebo Samuel paid as well. So, I mean, the big winner of this is you start looking forward. Yes, it is DK Metcalf, of course, as his agent, because they're going to get absolute bags of money, okay? It also is the Seahawks, because they locked in a true star at a young age, who's not going to be a holdout. But the true winner here, I think, is Trey Lance, because now that this deal got done, the framework for Deebo Samuel's deal is going to get done, which is going to be monstrous. You did not want to have Trey Lance going in and not having Deebo Samuel a happy camper going into this upcoming season, in which the 49ers can make some waves.
I do think that Deebo Samuel's deal is going to get done. Right now, he's a hold-in. So he is showing up to training camp. I mean, that's the new direction that we've seen taken in the NFL.
When did that become a new phrase, by the way, the hold-in?
The hold-in. Well, the first time I remember it happening was with Xavier Howard some years ago in Miami. That was the first hold-in that I remember. And now it's the way to do things. And that's because under the new CBA, the fines are so much more hefty than they used to be. And the team doesn't get rid of those fines anymore. They can't once you sign your deal. It used to be that, hey, you didn't bother to show up to anything because, yes, you'd get fined every day. But then when you actually did work out your new extension, the team would